Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here for the third time at Identiverse, second time as a presenter, and today I'm going to speak with Oren about the device trust and how it is a key to a seamless passwordless experience. And I'm very happy that you're all here, and I hope that I'm looking at the time, and I think it will open your appetite, maybe not for food, but let's see. My name is Yariv Levavi. I'm a group product manager at PingID, responsible for MFA, passwordless strong authentication. And here with me, Oren Sternheim, senior engineering manager working closely with me on the passwordless strong authentication MFA. And as we said, we are here to speak about passwordless and device trust. But let's start with a few things that we believe you need to know about passwordless. And I always love to start my presentations with a few questions to the audience. So if anyone can or know or can try to guess, what is the percentage of businesses that have planned or actually moved to passwordless technology in the last, let's say, year? Can you imagine the number? You can throw it. It's not a test. How much? 5? Oh, much more. It's 92%. According to FIDO Alliance article that I found, there's 90% of the businesses that have or plan to move to passwordless. And who knows what is the main barrier for this passwordless adoption? Who can? Yeah, that's a good question. But yeah, it's actually. Yeah. Yeah, so that's definitely one of them, but according to at least to FIDO Alliance, the top or the main barrier is actually education. They claim that in order to educate the people, the users to embrace or to adopt passwordless, that's the main barrier that we need to solve. I mean, admins needs to solve. Second question, business can save an average of, do you know how much? And I can tell you a hint, it's in millions of dollars by over 3 years. Can you imagine what is the number? Throw a number. 5, 8, no, it's actually even more than that. It's 9.1 according to a Forrester article from last year. For 3 years, 9.1, and I can tell you that next slide I'm going to show you a research that we at Ping did, and we got even higher numbers of revenue you can share with the passwordless. I will show it in the next slide. And last question for today is, can you imagine what is the percentage of IT leaders expect password to be less than a quarter used in their organization in the, let's say, 5 years? Can you imagine this number? Yeah, you're close. It's 89. Yeah. But we're speaking about 5 years or less, so it's a long time. Everything I show here, again, is coming from articles from Forrester and FIDO Alliance. So here I promise to discuss about a research that we've done at Ping for the revenue you can save when you move to passwordless. So if we say that passwordless solution reduce, let's say, around 6 authentications per day per employee, and we say that authentication takes about 10 seconds in average. So if we combine all that, so I have 2 examples. One is in Europe, for example, a German company that 1 hour costs $43, and 1 minute per employee, multiple 20K employees, gives us 333 hours. And then you see the calculation. It brings us to, if we multiply it with the yearly work days, you get 3.5 million per year. And then we also look at the IT cost for all the calls coming to the IT. So it's summed by around 2.4 million. And if you combine these two numbers, you get a total of almost $6 million per year for a European company with 20K users. Now we took another example for the US. So if in US 1 hour costs $33 per hour, and you see the calculation, so we get to 2.7 yearly saved for employees to authenticate, and then $1.5 million for the IT calls, which summarize to $4.3 million per year. So we are even higher in the numbers than what I showed you before by Forrester. But we are all in agree that passwordless can reduce the number of authentication, number of calls, and then save them money for for the organization. So here, last slide with numbers, just again to bring you some more information before we dive into the passwordless and device trust. So 76% of the organizations experience multiple account or credential compromise over the last 12 months, which is a high number. It means that we're still using deprecated, and I will show it in one of the next numbers. For example, 72% of the organizations still use phishable MFA factors, for example, SMS, emails, for their customer-facing application. Now, 52% of the organizations say workforce password authentication has had significant positive impact on overall cybersecurity. It just say that it has a positive impact. It doesn't mean that they actually implement passwordless. And the last data you see here is the 62% of the organization make MFA mandatory for the entire workforce. A bit above half, but we're still speaking about MFA. We're not speaking about passwordless. And this is all coming from an article coming from Enterprise Strategy Group. It's a study that made for, I think, 300 administrators that was involved in this study. So, looking at passwordless, what are the three main challenges as we at Ping see for passwordless? So first one is consistent experience. You will hear me say that more and more. So consistent experience across different access points to create adoption. We're speaking about a few ways to get adoption by the users. So this is one of the main things. If you keep the consistent experience, it will help to raise the adoption level. Second thing is it must be aligned with the zero trust strategy of the organization. If you can't influence the management or convince the management that this is important, this is part of the strategy, the overall strategy, it will never fly. So align it with your zero trust strategy. And lastly, combine robust security with simplicity in order to get enhanced protection. So these are also two things that you need to, of course, bear in mind. The robust security, but comes hand with hand with simplicity, because if we develop something that is very good, but it's very complex to use or to implement, no one will use it. And we are at Ping, we know that. We are working with high-edge, features, and we try to be very, as possible, simple as possible, but still keep the level of security as high as possible. This is how Ping sees the workforce passwordless approach. So we want to deliver fast time to value with passwordless experience for modern and legacy. This is very important. So if you see at the center of this chart, you see the threat protection with AI, plus the device trust that we are going to speak today, and the application and data risk. All of these are managed by an orchestration flow to combine the user, the risk, and the application signals all together. And with that, to have a deployment choice for improving the productivity, but also improve the security. And on the other end, keep the agility and the compliance with the dynamic authorization, modern authentication, and hybrid mode, whether it's a full cloud or hybrid, both. So what I want to show here is in the center of everything here, you see the device trust that we are going to speak about. This is the main thing for the passwordless adoption in the workforce. This is a trial of trust as we see it. There are three main things that you need to remember again when you're thinking about trust. So there's the identity of the user try to access something, a resource, a web application. There's the risk signal for this transaction or authentication. And the main thing that we want to cover today is the device. So there is three points that you need to consider when you calculate the trust of this transaction. So let's first give it some introduction for this device trust for workforce we are speaking about. So there are two things that you will hear today. One is the device identity, and the other is the device posture. Those are two different things that sometimes people confuse between them, and that's why I have this point here. So device identity meaning I want to identify a specific device, a workstation, and in the future we will also identify mobile, but it's the device itself. The device posture is what is the level of posture for the device, meaning is it updated? Does it have firewall? Does it have malware software? The browser version, and etc. and etc. So this is even a higher level of information about the device. And these are two different things that you need to remember. Second, you need to remember that this can be used with passwordless, because we're speaking today about passwordless, but it can also be used with multi-factor authentication. So it doesn't mean that you have to have passwordless solution in your organization in order to use it. You can also use it for MFA, and it will reduce the number of authentications and will give you higher trust level. But still, it can be used for both. It mitigates the risk of unauthorized access, as I said. When you are looking at an authentication transaction, and you want to make sure that the device that's trying to access, not precisely where it tries to or what resource it tries to access, but which device tries to access, then you can reduce the risk or mitigate the risk when you know which device tries to access one of your resources. And then it also enhances the user experience, the end user experience, because we can reduce the number of authentications if you know the device. And I know that, for example, Oren tried to already or successfully authenticated in the last few minutes. And this is the next authentication coming from the same device, so we can reduce the risk, and then we can say, okay, it's probably Oren, it's from the device, it's same user. Let's give it. We don't need another authentication. Again, it can be depend on the application it tries to authenticate. And lastly, zero interaction from end user, meaning the user doesn't even need to be aware of this, what we call the device trust, and Oren will explain better how our device trust solution is being developed. But this is something that the user should not be even aware. It's something that admin can handle, and the user just get the enhanced user experience. So there are a few components for the device trust that we want to cover. So the device verification. So you want to know which device is it. Do we know this device? Did we see this device with this user? There's a device posture, as I mentioned before. We want to also know what is the posture level of this device. Does it have the latest firewall, the latest browsers, the latest operating system, and etc.? There's the contextual awareness, where we want to understand what this device tries to do. So now, not only we know that the user tries to access something, a resource, but also we can say a device tries to access this, and this gives us more information about the context of this transaction. There's the continuous monitoring, where you want, as an admin, to manage the devices on your organization, right? So if before we just manage users, you can manage devices in Active Directory, but we are speaking about devices for authentication, devices that authenticate into your organization. So you can continue monitoring these devices and manage the devices, for example, block and et cetera, and et cetera. And lastly, there's the policy enforcement, where you can use an authentication registration policy and decide specific rules per the device ID. So maybe if it's a new device, you see it first time, you want to require specific authentication methods, maybe FIDO only, and then on the second time you see the device with the same user, then maybe you can reduce it to just, push notification, or maybe just allow the user to log in because it's the second time within a few hours. So. And with that, I will hold now with the speaking and let Oren and the technology speak.
Okay, so let's start with a quick exercise. You have this QR code. Feel free to scan it. It will take you to a login page. You have my username and my password, so you can try to log in and tell me what happened.
Did you just fish us?
Yeah.
You have my username and password, so I think it goes the other way around.
It's a nice picture.
Did anyone succeeded? Okay, so now let me show you what happened. Okay, in the left-hand side of the screen, you can see a Chrome browser running on my local Mac machine, which is just your phone. It's just an unknown device. In the right-hand side, there is a Windows virtual machine, which have the new device trust agent that we are actively developing. So you can see it here running. Hopefully everything will work. So if I try to log in from the unmanaged device, oops. Let me show you this is the same password I shared with you. I'm not fooling you. So I got blocked with the same error, right? Device trust cannot be verified. On this machine, because I have the agent, I should be authenticated. Oh, oops! What happened?
Probably no. It's probably a reflection on login.
It is a different error message. I don't know if you can see it. But it is because the device is not compliant to the device posture policy that we define. So let me go into CrowdStrike, our partner, which we partnered with for this solution. I'll log in, and we'll see that it have an incident. This is why I was blocked. Sorry about that, it takes a few seconds. OTPs.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
So this is the CrowdStrike console, and I go to the incidents, and I see that there is an active incident here. So let me close it and try again. So back to my virtual machine with the agent. Once again, same user, same password. And now I'm logged in. So this is the demo. Let me explain a little bit what happened here. So as you can see in the diagram, we see device trust as there is two steps to create a device trust. The first one is to establish the trust, and the second one is to verify the trust. The trust establishment happens when you install the device agent. Not any user can install the device agent. You must be an admin account on the computer. And not only you need to provide during the installation access token to PingOne APIs, so you can create the device in the PingOne API. So this is the establishment, and then when you authenticate, every time you open your browser, you go to the authentication screen. We invoke the agent that is installed on the machine, and we get a payload. I will explain a bit later what inside this payload. We use public key cryptography in order to verify that this is the same device, that is a managed device with trust established from the first step, the installation time. Additionally, you can see here that there is a custom script. Basically, during installation, the administrator can write his own script and can do all of the things that an agent running on a computer can do, interact with different component of the underlying operating system. So in the example you just saw, we are pulling the device identifier of CrowdStrike This is just a value in the registry. We pull it from the CrowdStrike agent that is installed on the same machine. And during authentication time, we execute the script and we send it to ping1, and it is added to the contextual data of the authentication flow. And I will show in the next slide. You can actually see here how it works, basically, the very high-level design concept. The browser invokes the ping agent running on the same machine, and the ping agent invoke the CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike is just an example, right? Yariv will touch a little bit later on about that, but it can be anything. You can write any script, and the data will be pulled into the context of the authentication flow. So we are planning to deliver an API-first product, so it can be integrated with any identity provider. But obviously, we will release also out-of-the-box integration for Ping's identity providers, such as DaVinci, which the demo just saw was built on DaVinci, Ping Federate, and ForgeRock. But any other IDP can be used here. Even if you use your own authentication screens, you can run it there because it is API first.
And whoever doesn't know what is DaVinci, and I hope you all are, it's our orchestration platform, of course.
Okay, so what data is being loaded into the authentication context when you run the device trust agent? So the first thing, Yariv also touched a little bit, it is identifier. It is immutable and unique identifier per agent, per machine, and per installation. So every time you install our agent, we generate the ID, and we use PKI to make sure that it is the same device again and again. If you alter the hardware of the machine, the device ID won't stay the same. We use TPM for that, so in machines that support TPM, and Secure Enclave for Mac. We also get the logged-in user, so not only you have the user who's trying to log into the application, whether it's SAML or OIDC. Also, you get the user that logs into the computer. And Yariv will talk a little bit what we can do with this data. We get the domain name of the computer, so if it's a domain joined computer. Operating system information and browser information, so you can do a little bit of device posture checks there, check that you're running on an updated version of the operating system and the browser. And additional data is basically the scripts that I described before. It's a custom script that the administrator set during the installation, and the script can do anything, right? It can just prompt for a string or JSON, and then you load this data into the flow, and you can parse it, do anything you want with it, send it to CrowdStrike, do any other checks, and I think that's it. So back to Eric.
Thanks. So a few use cases that we can use this device trust solution for. So this is the first one. You see, I'm logged into my machine, and let's say after I'm logged in, Oren tries to SSO to one of the web applications with his credentials. As you see, there is no alignment between the user logged in and the user tries to SSO, and with that, we can just say we block it, or we can just say, I'm not sure who is trying to authenticate. I'm not trusting the device now when Oren tries to use it. Maybe I want to ask him to ID verify himself, or maybe use FIDO just in case, or you got the point. Second use case is the machine was identified with my username. So you see it's Yariv PC, right? I already authenticated from this machine. It doesn't matter who logged into the machine. It's assigned to my username, and then someone else, again, let's say Oren, tries to SSO from this machine. we can say, admin can decide what he wants to do in this situation where the machine is assigned with another user and another user try to log in from this machine. It can be blocked, but it can be just raise the request, maybe two MFAs, not only just a push, but I want to have a push and then an SMS, for example. The third use case is, as Oren showed, the device posture third-party solution services, and you see only few on screen, OpsWatt, Microsoft Intune, CrowdStrike, of course, and SentinelOne, but there are more, as you understand. I didn't want to fill in the screen with all the logos, but any third-party solution can be, in theory, integrated with our solution as long as you can get the ID from their agent and send it through the flow, as Oren mentioned. So during the registration of the device ID agent, you can not only use our device ID, the one that we calculate, the agent calculates, but also a third-party device ID, as we call it, external ID, and send it through a flow to the third-party service and get the information from them. And then you can decide what you want to do. If the device posture is not good enough, then maybe you can block, or as Oren showed in the demo, or you can say, I want to require another authentication because I'm not sure about this device. A few things you need to remember with the passwordless strategy. So we divided it into 4 steps, high-level steps. So start with passwordless. First, move away from legacy MFA methods, of course, like I mentioned, SMS, email, and move to the FIDO-based methods, and implement a passwordless solution in your organization. That should be the first thing you do, right? The second thing is reduce the number of passwords, deploy a device trust and risk, and we see the device trust and risk coming together hand in hand. And this is to increase the assurance levels, but also to reduce the number of password prompts. We want to reduce the numbers for users' experience to be better, but also for security reasons. And then the registration step is where you come to a step where new employees on board with no password at all. And this is a very progressive stage in the journey to passwordless. And the last step is actually elimination. Remove the passwords in your directory. We are at the last slide we have for you today. I hope you got everything, but just a few keynotes I want you to take when you step out the door. So first one is passwordless is a journey. You keep hearing that. I guess I'm not the first one saying it. And we believe that it requires a partner to your side, and you need to choose your partner carefully. Of course, I will say that PingID is the best partner, but choose your partner because it's a journey. It's not something that you just implement. For passwordless to succeed, there's need for users adoption. You, again, hear me say that more than once today. And then it can be achieved through a consistent user experience. Again, consistent user experience is one of the most things that users want if you want to convince them to move to passwordless. And then lastly, adopting passwordless. Enhance your security posture beyond current measures. This is very important because not only you are now in a passwordless state, but you also increase the security in your organization and brings more value, and we showed. I hope you saw it in the presentation today. So that was it. We are here for questions if you have. Yes. It will be part of the PingID. Oh yes, sorry. He asked if this agent is going to be a standalone or part of the PingID agent. So indeed, with PingID we have a few agents for Mac and Windows. It's going to be part of this, but we are thinking about having it as a standalone as well. So you should wait for the coming few months. It might be for both. Definitely for PingID. Yes. So this is probably the first phase, but we are thinking about expanding that and allowing customers to just use it for other use cases.
So with the agent, we also have the accounts on the browser because when access communication from the browser, so we say that we have a script which
No add-ons required. We use the Signals SDK, if you're familiar with that. This is a SDK that provided by Ping. It's a JavaScript SDK.
So any activity that is happening in the browser, you can invoke your script based on some level of monitoring capability that what activity is happening in the browser. My question is that, this will work with the non-browser based apps as well?
It can work with that. This is not something that it is not part of the release, but it could work in theory. Yes. Any other questions?
I was wondering, with this, would you also have the ability to be able to stop people from using it? Say they were on a device that's used by many people, then you could just prevent it from being used on that device by IP or range or something.
I didn't understand. Do you understand?
So you're asking if there is some sort of a kiosk computer with many users connecting to it, so you want to block it? Definitely, that is something that you will be able to do with this solution, because we see the users that are logging into the machine, and you will be able to create your own rules in DaVinci or any other IDP, right? To prevent the authentication attempt.
I remind you one of the slides showing, I will go back to it. So it's this slide, for example. So if it's assigned to one user, then you can say it cannot be assigned to other users cannot be using this machine because it's assigned to one user only, for example.
So then that would be for a temporary period or something? That would be assigned to one user?
It depends. You can decide it if it's a temporary or... you can always unassign this, right? You can always, as I said, we manage the devices. You can say, okay, it's no longer, you can delete this device, and then you need to reinstall the agent again and take another decision. It's already installed, it's already assigned to Yariv username. You can just delete it and reinstall it.
What about those?
Yeah, those are on the roadmap. I don't have an exact ETA. I didn't even speak about ETA for this solution. I was not allowed, by the way, by Identiverse. But this is coming. We
The challenge with those is because if you're using certificate-based auth, certificate prompts in mobile apps, those are a nightmare.
Yeah, I know.
This is not based on certificate.
So it's a JavaScript? Because at the end of the day, we can only infer a certificate, or you harbor certificate information and shove it into an invisible form with a JavaScript. There are only two that I know of. You have a third one?
There are many software components here in play. If you want, we can elaborate on it backstage.
Yes.
How do you tie the agent to the organization?
To the organization. It's when you install, maybe I go back to, you didn't show it in the installer. You need to provide a worker app for your environment, for your Ping1 environment, which means it cannot be installed without that. So, for example, I as a user, I cannot just install it. An admin must install it with the information from the Ping1 environment of yours.
So the agents are coming through Ping1 that are getting authentication now in our environment. I'm not getting that part. How is the agent microenvironment? Knowing that this is, for example, our company, these are only for our company agents. Like, how do you're saying that there's going to be some kind of a PingID login that they want to do? Do you get that?
I think I can answer that. So you're asking how we correlate the agent to the tenant in Ping1, right?
I'm looking at this as this is a managed device now, right? So
Yes.
Intune, I know Intune enrollment. I know this is the Intune managed device, these are managed devices. Same way in Ping, how do I know these are our organization devices? How do
So-
you tie that agent to the organization?
Bootstrapping the trust.
Yes, this happens during installation time. During installation time, we are generating a unique and immutable identifier for the device, so we ensure it doesn't change. And at the same time of the authentication, we're also creating the device in your Ping1 tenant. You need to provide an API key to create this in Ping1. The API, the key, whether it's client credentials or access token, it's not yet settled, but whatever it will be, is used to create a device in Ping1, and then we don't store it on the device. It's just meant to create the device, and then the unique and immutable ID remains connected to your tenant.
I want to know how is that synced up there? So that's the script that's doing that syncing?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
So when you install the device, maybe we figure out when you install the agent, like the key, you said this is a unique key being generated, right? Which one is synced up with P1?
Yes.
What is the process of that key syncing up with the P1?
During installation, we are sending to Ping1 the ID, and it's also backed with public key infrastructure. So we send a public key, okay, and the private key stored securely on the machine in the TPM or secure enclave. So every time you authenticate, the agent generates a signed proof that it is the same device.
In most of the devices during the setup, you basically create a CSR that the ID just signs, and it just private key never goes to the device. There are a bunch of CSR devices. Most of the time, I don't know if it works like that.
It is similar, just we don't use certificate, so it's not CSR.
It's a keeper. It's not
A keeper.
There's a difference.
Yes.
Yes.
How do you handle account recovery or if your device is lost?
Good question.
So yeah, I think so. Here, basically, this the solution that we just presented is it's unrelated to if you go to the triangle you have. It's not related to the identity lifecycle management. So I see account recovery as more in this area. We just signal to the authentication flow that this device is managed. I know this device and I can trust it. Yeah.
But this is a good point.
Sorry? How you identify the device? So you're asking about the identifier itself?
Well, so you're saying that, if the device is
The what?
so then you go, so what happens there? What's the workflow of the device is lost?
Oh, if the device is lost, first of all, we assume that you can't unlock the device if it's locked. But if you want to remove the trust, you will be able to do this on management screens. We didn't touch it on these presentations. I think it's also something that identifiers didn't allow us to show.
Very similar to mine, enrollment, re-enrollment, and technically if somebody, lifecycle of the device is already handled.
Yes.
Very similar to what I was asking, so I want to see that also maybe later on.
Yes, you can come later and we will show you the screens and how we manage the device lifecycle.
Still in development and
Yeah.
Yes.
Would this be a separate licensing model or anyone with a PingID or anyone?
I can guarantee that anyone with PingID should be able to use it with no further license. As I said before, we are thinking about expanding it to more use cases, and then we will probably need to have another idea how we calculate the licenses, etc. But for PingID customers, it should be part of the offering for sure.
How do you see about the upgrades for the agents?
Similar as what and I know you are using our clients, just a regular update.
Maybe some messages on
Not yet. It's coming, not yet. Right. Oh, yes.
Here's the curiosity. Why, with everything, with technology that is today, why agent? Why not agent?
Because it's, I guess Owen can tell the technical reasons for that, but we found out we do have an agentless solution. It's mainly for SIAM where you cannot install an agent. With an agent, it's more powerful, it's more linked to the machine itself. We are based on the TPM, and Owen, do you want to take it with the Yeah.
So basically, when you're running in a browser, you're running JavaScript. The browser is sandboxed. You can't link the computer you are running on to the browser that is running on the computer, right? So you can't interact, for example, with CrowdStrike. You can't do this. This is why we must have an agent. And as Yariv mentioned, there is another, the device trust solution is both for SIAM and workforce, and they look a bit different. For SIAM, it is agentless. We didn't touch it at all in this presentation, but it allows you to create trust between the browser and PingOne, just without all the extra logged in user and device posture checks and all of this.
And you see here, this is a screenshot from, it's still in development, but this is a PingOne, the left side, it's a PingOne environment, devices page for environment. And we are going to introduce the Chrome Firefox, the browser support for device trust real soon, like next quarter. And the device trust we are developing, the upper one with the workstation ID, this is coming later, and this will add, as we said, another layer of security. But if you as an organization want to use the browser-based, you're welcome. I mean, this is possible, but we're just adding another layer of security for that. Yes. Can you repeat? So, in theory, any third party should work with a connector. If we're using a DaVinci flow, so with the connector or DaVinci, and we have connectors for most of those. But if there's a missing one, we can work on. And then within a flow, and again, if you want, we can show you out. I mean, offline. Within a flow, you can just add a connector for a third party, get the information from the third party, and go back to the flow and decide how you want to proceed. As Owen showed today, we just showed, okay, CrowdStrike make an incident, we block. But you can say, as I said, you can say, I will not block, but I will make it harder for the user to authenticate, maybe with 2 authentication. Yes, please. Sorry, he was first. And take it even one layer, and Owen will kill me, but we are planning to have it from the login page. So if you log in with PingID, you will be able to, from the login, to know that this is the user that logged into the machine. Maybe I don't require to ask you for more authentications. That's coming. It's still not. We're still not
yes.
yet there.
You're going to integrate this with PingID too, right? PingID has a new device thing, that new device policy, so.
Yes. This is coming. I mean, it's coming. Yes. Sorry. Now.
So, this opened the door then to other single sign-on situations. Let's say I'm using SSH for something that is browser-based. I can now take knowledge of my, secure, trusted connection and deploy that into subsequent applications.
Yes. Perhaps in the future.
Yeah. Not now, but yes. This is definitely our plans. Yeah, definitely. Come offline, I will tell you. I'm not allowed to speak about that. Yeah. Sorry.
After you take the microphone off.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Because I think that AI is still listening.
Yes. We didn't say anything. Okta is in the other room.
Right.
So how do you basically synchronize your event to send something when I'm doing the browser activity?
You're asking technically how we do it?
Yeah, I mean, how do you synchronize without having any kind of add-on on the browser? How do you synchronize that I'm doing some activity on the browser?
So I think this is the same question you asked, right? We can come offline and we discuss this in further details. Sorry, can you repeat?
You're using Microsoft Intune, you said? Yes. So yes, within the installer of our agent, you need to specify where to find the Intune ID, the Microsoft Intune ID. And I know there is a way, because we were in contact with Microsoft. There is a way to get their ID, and then you send it through the connector. And we are working on an enhanced connector for Microsoft Intune. We have a connector for DaVinci, but it's not. I mean, you can use it with an API, but we will improve it. And then you send through the flow a connector from Intune, asking, "Hey, do I know this ID? Is it related to this user?" And you can get the answer. No. It's for the first release. DaVinci is just because we implement APIs. In the future, we will have, I think you showed it, a Ping Federate and integration with the ForgeRock and et cetera, and et cetera. Here it is. So it's coming. We're not sure again about the ETAs, but when it's coming. But this is part of our roadmap for the coming month.
So the innovative stuff here is the harvesting with the script just in time for the posture check. Do you have some kind of guidance for people? So the script, is it run slowly? How to ensure it's unchanged? How to make sure that the data it submits is consistent and confidential, or maybe some kind of encryption? Do you have any kind of guidance that will come attached to that? Or can I just do unsigned PowerShell and hope for the best?
We will provide some guidance around it, but we are also thinking about performance here. This is one of the non-functional requirements we have. Of course, that we are running an authentication, and this is crucial to perform on a timely manner. So we are going to build some caching layers that allows you to run the scripts not during authentication. This will be one option, but you will be able to run it offline every configurable amount of time, and then cache the result and just send it when you authenticate.
Hopefully the cache again encrypted, confidential, immutable, and all that.
We will bring you to the design summit.
You're welcome.
So it means you will forbid people from using WMI. Got it.
Right.
We have Intune as well as Microsoft Defender, right? So do you have anything for Microsoft Defender as well to check the endpoint?
We don't, but I guess it is possible. So we need to dig into that. But
The two key components you need here is one, to be able to query the device ID from the machine itself. So you need to script somehow your way to get the ID. And then you need to have an API provided by Microsoft, which again, I'm not sure if there is one like this to get the device posture data based on this ID that you just pulled out.
we need to wrap up, so you can come to us in the after.
Thank you
very much.